Chelsea fans, welcome to your Crystal Palace vs Chelsea preview, and it's about time we look to get more points on the board. With 3 games without a victory, it's about time we start speaking some positivity, and if we really do have ambitions of finishing as high as possible in the top 4, we need to get points on the board. It's a new start, new year, 2025. It's the first game in 2025, so there's no better way of starting it with a victory away to Selhurst Park. In this video, we're going to be covering the 3 changes Chelsea can make, what to expect from Crystal Palace, predicting a Chelsea 11. So if you are new to this channel, make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any content. Chelsea come into this game after back-to-back defeats at home to Fulham and away to Ipswich, but they've actually got a really good record at Selhurst Park, winning 12 of their 15 Premier League games. But Palace themselves have really picked up in the past couple of weeks, having only lost 1 of their last 8 Premier League games, and that defeat was against Arsenal. So here's what to expect from Crystal Palace. Well, they're set up in a 3-4-2-1 formation, and a massive aspect of their game, both in possession and out of possession, is their high backline during a build-up phase. This allows them to play off from the back more comfortably as they're further away from their goal, but if there was a turnover, this allows them to counter a press in the opposition's half. So in simplistic terms, they'll look to suffocate Chelsea. Now, what Crystal Palace are very good at, especially with them 2 attack midfielders just in behind the striker, is finding pockets of space. So Chelsea need to close the space. We need to be compact, force Crystal Palace out wide, and trust our fullbacks in one-on-one situations. And finally, if I'm Oliver Glasner and Disasi is starting right back, that is an area I would look to be targeting. Him and Torsen in those inside right-hand channels. I'll be telling Eze to play on that. Get in around that area, see if he can isolate Disasi in a one-on-one situation, because Eze will have the beating of him, because Disasi struggles in one-on-one situations, and that's why I don't want to see him anywhere near this lineup. Because of the shocking performance against Ipswich, I do expect Chelsea to make at least 3 changes, so stick around for the predicted 11. But Palace are definitely there to be exploited, especially with playing at 3 at the back. Now, their vulnerabilities lie in open spaces, so we need to be quick in transition, commit bodies forward, and use space to our advantage. And this is where Nicholas Jackson can be key. I think we missed his movement against Ipswich. We had no creativity, no off-ball movement, which causes teams so much problems. Teams are so happy when everything's played in front of them. So if Nicholas Jackson can get in behind Palace and start stretching their backline, that's where the problems lie. So if I'm Enzo Maresca, I would say don't come to feet for the ball. Let Cole Palmer, Enzo Fernandez, João Felix all find pockets of space and get on the ball. What I want you to do is try and get in behind Crystal Palace. I think we've come away from trying to get in behind teams, and that's where we were causing teams a lot of problems at the beginning of the season. So we need to bring that back into our game, and especially with Crystal Palace playing 3 at the back. What you need to do against teams that play 3 or 5 at the back is stretch their centre-backs. They don't want to be isolated out wide. That's the last place they want to be. So if Nicholas Jackson can use those right and left half channels to just stretch their backline, it would open space for the likes of Cole Palmer, Enzo Fernandez, João Felix, Pedro Neto, whoever's starting on the day, to exploit the inside central areas. And this is where our overloads in the middle of the pitch will come key, because we'll create overloads in the middle of the pitch, so there's always going to be a spare man. And finally, let's be more brave in transition moments. See if we can run at Crystal Palace, see if we can create overloads and just suffocate them by moving bodies forward. And finally, if Chelsea are brave and commit bodies forward, they'll cause Palace a lot of problems. Let's support Nicholas Jackson in attack. I would love to see us really take the game to Crystal Palace. Can we see the likes of João Felix, Cole Palmer, Nicholas Jackson, Enzo Fernandez, and Pedro Neto all playing in their final third? And the reason I think this might happen is because I think we might see something similar to what we've seen against Aston Villa, where Moses Caicedo played at right back and Romeo Lavia come in. I don't know how fit Romeo Lavia is, so I don't know how realistic this can be. But I wouldn't be surprised because of our problems at right back. But would it be the starting 11 I would start with? Probably not, but I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if Enzo Maresca was actually considering this. However, speaking of starting 11s, it's time to predict our starting 11. Starting out with the goalkeeper, I think Robert Sanchez has had one too many errors, and I think Enzo Maresca is given unbelievable amount of opportunities and he's consistently let them down. So I do think Jorgensen will start in goal, and I don't actually think Jorgensen was bad against Ipswich. I think he made a few good crucial saves, and I don't think the penalty was a penalty. I don't actually think he put a foot wrong. So for that reason, I would actually start Jorgensen in goal, and it's good to see him competing for that number one spot. And it's now time for him to really step up, level up his game, bring in that confidence, and make that number one spot his own. Because I don't know about you guys, but for me personally, I feel a lot more comfortable knowing that Jorgensen's in goal. I'm not saying he's perfect, but I'm just saying he's a level above Robert Sanchez in my opinion. At left back, I would continue with Marc Cucurella. I don't think he was quite at the races from what we've seen at the beginning of the season against Ipswich. He can get away with having a mediocre game once in a while, but he's been super consistent all season and definitely a huge part of the way we play. So I would continue with Marc Cucurella at left back. At left centre back, it will be Levi Colwill. I think at times over the past 3 games especially, he has looked exposed. Let's not lie about it. He really, really has. But I think that's because of the partner alongside him. I think Levi Colwill needs somebody with speed, good recovery pace, and Tosin just doesn't have that. However, we've got nobody else to play other than Tosin or Disasi. So I do think Tosin will keep his place at right centre back. We just need to be wary of Crystal Palace in transition moments. If Tosin gets isolated in one-on-one areas out wide, he's done for. It's time to talk about this right-back position because I think this is where Chelsea have had the majority of their problems. Like I mentioned earlier, I would not be surprised to see Moses Caicedo start there, but I don't know how fit Romeo Lavia will be, so we're not going to put him there in this prediction. Would I start Disasi? Absolutely not. For me personally, I would put Disasi up for sale this transfer window. We don't need him. We can bring in the money and look to bring in better quality because Disasi just isn't the standard of what you expect from Chelsea Football Club, and that's being brutally honest. I've said it for a while. He's not good in wide areas. The formation and the system we play does not complement Disasi. When Disasi plays a centre-back, you need protection around him, and that just tells a full story. When you're playing as a right back, you need to be comfortable in one-on-one situations. Do I think Malo Gusto will start? I don't know. I kind of feel like Enzo Maresca's lost faith in him for now. So for me personally, if I'm looking at this and I'm picking the starting 11, there's obviously a reason why you had massive negotiation talks with Joshua Chempong. If you didn't rate him, you would have let him leave. You obviously rate him. Enzo Maresca speaks so highly of him, so let him start. Give him a start because he's perfect for that right back, right centre back position, and he can be that covering centre back. He's comfortable moving into the middle. I would absolutely start with Joshua Chempong. Now, as a double pivot in midfield, I kind of feel like we're very weak in this area. And I don't mean weak as in quality-wise. I mean weak as in depth. Because I just don't think KDH is good enough. I don't think Cassidy is good enough. Romeo Lavia probably isn't fully fit yet, so I can't see him playing in this game. And then you've got Moses Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez. And that's it. And it does look like they just need some respite. It does look like they're running out of steam because they have to commit a lot to every single game. They pretty much need to cover every blade of grass on that football pitch, and the intensity that the Premier League plays with, it takes it out of you, and sometimes you just need your body to recover. Sometimes you can't overdo things. I just feel like when I'm watching Moses Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez, I like this partnership. I think it's starting to blossom. They're really getting used to each other, but they're just running out of steam. The legs are heavy. It's obvious to see. So I wouldn't mind actually recalling Leslie Ugochukwu because I think his profile is probably better suited to Enzo Maresca's system than a KDH, than a Cassidy. So I would look to bring him back from Southampton, even if Southampton have changed managers. However, what I will say, I think we've done the hard yards. We've had a cluttered schedule over the December period. During January, that's going to ease off a lot more. We're going to have a lot more rest time during games. So hopefully we can get through this without any injuries, with a high intensity. When it comes to wingers, this is where it gets interesting because Mudryk, he can't play. We all know about his ongoing situation. But then that leaves us with João Felix, Pedro Neto, Noni Manueki, Jadon Sancho. So you've pretty much got two positions for four players. Now, I actually think João Felix was probably our more inspiring player against Ipswich. He was looking to get on the ball. Yes, he misplaced passes a few times, but he was looking to take risks. He was looking to make an impact, make a difference. That's what you need from your offensive wingers. So I would love to see João Felix get more game time because I think that partnership with Cole Palmer can blossom. It's kind of like a Moses Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez situation. The more comfortable and more game time they get with each other, the more in sync they will become, and it can really blossom into something. Do really think it's got potential. So I wouldn't mind seeing João Felix get more minutes on that left-hand side. And then your right-hand side, Noni Manueki started against Ipswich, but I do expect Pedro Neto to come back in. And I actually feel he can really cause problems to Crystal Palace on the right-hand side because it gives them the license to come inside and have a go. Gives them the license to isolate one of those centre-backs in wide areas. And then he's got the option of going both ways. And that's the beauty of Pedro Neto. He's got the pace to get him behind, but he's also comfortable in his dribbling situation. So I would actually start with Pedro Neto. But another reason why I would start these two out wide, and I don't want to go to Crystal Palace and be defensive, but you need to put in defensive work, especially against wing backs. And I do think we'll get that with Pedro Neto. And I think Felix's defensive work and work rate off the ball is incredibly underrated. So that's another reason why I would start with these two as our wingers. And then probably the most obvious two selections, because I think we missed one of them against Ipswich, would be Cole Palmer as an attack midfielder. And then, as I pointed out, the importance of Nicholas Jackson's off-ball movement in this game. So I would undoubtedly start with Nicholas Jackson. And I think against Ipswich, Christopher Nkunku showed exactly why he's not a number 9. He doesn't offer you what Enzo Maresca needs in this system. But if you look at that front four, I think it's got a blend of everything. It's got work rate off the ball defensively, so we can cope with Crystal Palace's transitioning, offensive transitions. It's got creativity, it's got pace and good movement. So it's a healthy balance of everything. And I really do think this front four can cause Crystal Palace a lot of problems. And when I speak about our record at Crystal Palace, 12 wins out of the last 15 Premier League games at Selhurst Park. There's no reason why we can't go there full of life, full of confidence. We're coming off a defeat. Let's put things back right. So finally, from a manager's perspective, if it's not working, I want to see him be more brave, be proactive rather than reactive like we're seeing at the start of the season. So if it's not working and it's clearly obvious that somebody's having an off day or we're just not as fluid as normal, let's change things. Let's try something new. So I wouldn't mind, from an Enzo Maresca perspective, be proactive rather than reactive. Like we're seeing at the start of the season, that game against Tottenham epitomised everything good about Enzo Maresca. So let's see more of that. If you get it wrong, I'll accept it. At least you tried something rather than just being stale and sticking with the same thing. But my prediction, I'm going to go Crystal Palace 1, Chelsea 3. But I would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know your prediction in the comments below. Let me know who you would start. Like I said, that would be my starting 11, but I want to hear from you guys. Before you leave this video, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I will be doing a review after the game, so stay tuned for that. But until next time, thank you very much for your time.